In a world that's just buzzing with constant communication, the ability to really connect with people, it feels like this superpower, right?
Absolutely. It really does.
And so often, right at the heart of that is just how well we can express ourselves through spoken language.
Hmm.
So today, we're taking a deep dive into a skill that's, well, absolutely foundational for this spoken English.
That's right. And it's fascinating because, it's not just about having a big vocabulary. It's really about the dynamic ability to weave those words together effectively.
Yeah, to get your thoughts across clearly.
Exactly. To convey your thoughts, your intentions clearly and importantly with confidence. The material we've been looking at, it really unpacks how this skill touches so many different parts of our lives.
Totally. We sifted through some really insightful stuff, highlighting the practical day-to-day advantages.
Yeah, the real world stuff.
So if you've ever wondered how improving your spoken English
Yeah.
could actually make a difference maybe in your career or when you're traveling or trying to learn something new,
Or even just connecting with more people.
right, or just connecting with a wider range of people,
Yeah.
then this deep dive is definitely for you. We want to get beyond the basics and really understand why this skill can be such a significant asset.
Okay, sounds good. Where should we start?
Okay, let's jump right in and talk about the bedrock of it all, communication itself.
Right. And what's interesting, I think, is how spoken English allows for a much more direct and nuanced exchange of ideas. You can read English, sure, but speaking, it lets you get immediate feedback.
Oh, definitely. Tone and emphasis, too.
Exactly. Tone, emphasis. Those add layers of meaning that just get lost in written text sometimes.
Absolutely. And something that really stood out in the sources we looked at is the confidence boost. It seems like when you get comfortable speaking English, your confidence just blossoms.
It really does. It's almost like a virtuous cycle, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
As your fluency gets better, your confidence grows, and that makes you want to engage even more.
Precisely. Think about those everyday situations,
Mhm.
like ordering food in a restaurant when you're abroad, maybe. Or,
Or speaking up in a meeting.
yes, or contributing your ideas in a meeting where, some colleagues might be international.
Yeah.
When you can say what you mean clearly without hesitating, those interactions just become so much smoother.
Less stressful, for sure. And maybe even more enjoyable.
It's more than just ease, though, isn't it? The
Mhm.
material we looked at really touched on that deeper feeling of connection that comes with effective communication.
Mm-hmm. That sense of bridging a gap.
Yeah, when you can really engage in a conversation, when your thoughts are understood and you understand others, it creates that connection.
And if we think bigger picture, that ability to forge connections is just so vital everywhere. Building personal relationships, professional collaborations.
Spoken English often acts as the main tool for that, in many global contexts anyway.
It really does, making those human connections.
Speaking of the professional world, let's dive into career advancement. This feels like an area where strong spoken English can have a really, really tangible impact.
Undeniably. I mean, the sources are quite clear. English plays a huge role in the global business world.
It's the lingua franca, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Across so many industries, it's the common language for, well, everything from team chats to complex international deals. It's just the default in countless international business settings.
So for someone aiming for, say, a promotion or looking for a new job, especially one with any kind of international angle, being proficient in spoken English isn't just nice to have.
No, it often feels like a basic requirement. It raises a key question for anyone focused on their career. How well can you articulate your skills, your experience, your vision in English?
Especially in those high-stakes moments like job interviews.
Exactly. Job interviews, important presentations, making that strong first impression through confident, clear-spoken English, that can be a massive advantage.
And it's not just about, huge multinational corporations either.
That's a great point.
Even in countries where English isn't the main language, being able to talk easily with international clients or partners or just a wider global network,
Hmm.
that can open up some really big, maybe unexpected opportunities.
Totally. In our interconnected world, businesses, big and small, are dealing across borders more and more. That skill of communicating fluidly in spoken English, it just breaks down geographical barriers in a way that, written emails sometimes don't quite capture.
It really does.
Mm.
Okay, let's switch gears. Let's talk about something I think many of us dream about. Travel.
Yes, travel.
For lots of people, the idea of navigating somewhere unfamiliar, well, it can feel a bit daunting if there's a language barrier.
But what's quite remarkable is just how widespread English has become, hasn't it? in so many corners of the globe.
Right. It might not be the native language everywhere.
No, but it often works as a widely understood second language, especially in tourist areas or places dealing with international travelers.
The material we looked at really hammers home how this simplifies the logistics of travel. Just think about easily booking a hotel online.
Or asking for directions when you're lost in a new city.
Exactly. Being able to speak English can turn those potentially stressful moments into just simple, manageable interactions.
And it's not just about getting from A to B, is it?
No, not at all.
Being able to have even basic chats with locals in English can make your travel experience so much richer.
Yeah, learning about local customs, getting tips.
Insider tips you won't find in the guidebooks, and really connecting with the culture more personally. That's much harder if you're just, pointing or using translation apps.
It's so true. Even if you don't speak the local language fluently, knowing English often means you can still figure out signs, menus, get crucial tourist info.
It makes the whole journey smoother, more enjoyable.
If we tie this back, it's about independence and confidence, right?
Absolutely. Strong spoken English empowers travelers. You can navigate new places with more ease, rely less on others. It leads to a more fulfilling, maybe even more adventurous trip.
Okay, let's pivot now to something that's really central to what we do here. The incredible access to knowledge that spoken English provides.
Oh, this is a huge one, a really significant benefit. The sheer amount of information primarily available in English is just astounding.
Yeah, it's staggering.
From groundbreaking academic research to the latest industry reports, insightful analyses, a massive chunk of the world's knowledge is documented and shared in English.
And our sources really highlight the wealth of learning resources that suddenly open up. Think about all the online courses, tutorials, educational platforms.
So many of them are taught in English.
For anyone who loves learning throughout their life, this is just invaluable.
What's particularly interesting, I think, is the democratizing effect. It doesn't matter where you live, really. If you've got internet and a decent command of spoken English.
You can tap into this huge reservoir of information.
Exactly. Learning opportunities that might otherwise be completely out of reach.
And it's not just formal education, right? The material also talked about accessing popular websites, influential blogs, podcasts like this one.
Right. It's a key to staying informed about global trends, joining in those bigger international conversations.
Absolutely. Whether you're into like cutting edge tech or science breakthroughs or the arts or just keeping up with global events.
There's just so much English language content out there. It keeps you informed, challenges your views, really broadens your horizons.
And we shouldn't forget about English language media either, like movies, TV shows, online videos.
They expose us to new ideas, different perspectives all the time.
It really does feel like unlocking a whole new level of understanding the world and, our place in it.
Well said.
Now, let's move on to the social dimension.
Yeah.
How does spoken English help us connect with others globally?
This is where English really shines as a global connector. In this interconnected world, people are constantly interacting across borders, right? Online, in person.
Social media, international events.
Yes. And English often provides that essential common ground for communication.
Our sources had some great examples, like making friends easily in online gaming communities.
Or participating in international conferences. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. You can connect with someone on the other side of the planet just because you both happen to speak English.
And it's not just those first, maybe surface-level chats, is it?
No, definitely not. Being comfortable speaking English allows for, more nuanced, deeper conversations.
Understanding different cultural perspectives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And building really meaningful, lasting relationships with people from incredibly diverse backgrounds.
It's fascinating how some of the material even mention, like understanding different English accents from around the world.
Right. That's almost another layer of connection, isn't it? Learning to recognize and adapt to how English sounds in different places.
Yeah, it really highlights how dynamic the language is.
It does. And it underlines how important it is to be adaptable, open-minded, as both a listener and a speaker in this globalized world.
So as we start to wrap up this deep dive, it's really clear that spoken English is, it's so much more than just knowing words.
It's a foundational skill.
That it really enhances our ability to communicate clearly. It opens doors to better career paths, makes travel less daunting,
Gives us access to that huge universe of knowledge.
and maybe most importantly, strengthens our social connections with people everywhere.
Exactly. Developing your spoken English skills isn't just about linguistics. It's about actively unlocking tons of opportunities and really enriching your life in so many tangible, meaningful ways.
So, thinking about all these advantages we've discussed, what's one specific area in your own life where stronger spoken English skills could potentially make a truly significant difference?
It's definitely something valuable to reflect on, as you continue your own journey